Angry MGTOW here. And women need men. Women need men. This is a response to ShieldWife. We're going to be checking out her video today and let's see what she has to say. Her video is titled, Women Don't Need Men. But let's see if that's the case and let's see what she's really saying in this video. Let's also talk about her motives for making this video as well. So I'll go ahead and load it up. Yeah.
Government makes sure that the man I had sex with supports the child that he has no legal rights to. I don't need a man, but if I get pregnant, I demand that the government makes sure that the man I had sex with supports the child that he has no legal rights to. I don't need a man, but if I divorce one, I demand that the government give me a portion of his salary for the rest of his life. I don't need a man, but if my ex-husband or ex-lover can't supply enough money for my children and I, then I demand that the taxpayers support us. I don't need a man, but I demand that standards be lowered and incentives be provided so that I can compete with men in any field that I like. I don't need a man, but I demand that I have free childcare and health care for my children. I don't need a man, but I demand to get paid just as much as a man, even if I'm a worse employee. I don't need a man, but I demand maternity leave from my employer. I don't need a man, but I demand that anywhere I go be a safe space where my delicate sensibilities won't be offended by hearing something I don't like.
So this is one of those videos, huh? Basically where she points out all the reasons why there is so much discrimination in society against men and the hypocrisy by basically essentially playing devil's advocate. But here's the funny thing about that. What purpose will this video actually solve? Let's talk about that very carefully. This video is not doing anything. It's very easy for her to say, I don't need a man, and to put together videos like this, because in many ways she's just getting attention. She's just getting attention. A lot of the same women making these videos are not empathetic towards men. A lot of these women making these same videos would make a false claim against a man in a heartbeat. They are entering this space right now because feminism is toxic and no one wants to even glance in the direction of a feminist. So of course, they're going to enter the anti-feminist space where people are going to start calling them the walls. I remember when I was dealing with Cassie, or End Feminism, that some of you might remember her about 2 years ago. And I talked a lot of shit about Cassie. Maybe that's why she liked me so much, because I didn't treat her like a princess. I told her that she was just like every other woman. And even when we became friends, I still treated her that way. And it's funny because she knows she wasn't in a Walt. And she was always complaining about guys treating her like one, like she was so special. Guys, it's ridiculous. There's no such thing as an Walt. And men watching this video right now are gonna think, why are you attacking this woman? She's clearly on your side. She just wants to help you. Where were these women when we were having our lives destroyed? Where were these women when yes means yes was being passed? Where were these women when no-fault divorce was taking root throughout the country? They were nowhere to be found. But now that men don't want to have anything to do with women anymore, suddenly they realize that they need a man. You've got to be kidding me.
These delicate sensibilities of mine must be protected by any means necessary. Social pressure, university speech codes, hate speech laws, or even the threat of violence from manginas. I don't need a man, but I demand the protection of men in the military, law enforcement, fire department, and of civilian men in general. And I demand that I gain entry into any of the previously mentioned occupations with much lower physical standards. I don't need a man, but I demand that any accusation I make against men be accepted unconditionally by the authorities. I don't need a man, but I demand entry into all male-only spaces, and further demand that the men there must change to accommodate me and my desires. I don't need a man, but I demand medical research and popular concern be focused on my problems, despite men dying sooner than women do.
You know, I'll tell you guys something interesting. So she has a YouTube channel that she's been uploading videos to, maybe like 2 videos a year over the last couple of years. She has about 12 videos on the channel, so 2 to 3 a year. And she has 9,000 or over 9,000 subscribers. 9,000 subscribers on an inactive channel. It has no banner, it has no playlist, none of that crap. She just uploads a video every so often. For attention, obviously. So whenever she wants attention, she puts up a video. And she has over 9,000 subscribers. Not only does she have over 9,000 subscribers, most of her videos don't have a psychotic number of views. They might have 10,000 views. Some of them, a few have maybe like 50,000. One or two of them, one has like almost 400,000 views. This video actually has almost 400,000 views, and there's another one that has like 100,000. Aside from that, most of them, almost all of them, have well under 100,000 views. Many, again, around 10,000 or more. The point is that she has a channel with over 9,000 subscribers, around 12 videos, and the channel is rather inactive. So why does she have so many subscribers? Let's look at the video. She makes this video, and of course, she's gonna wear a low-cut shirt showing cleavage. This is not just a video saying, advertising that she's a supporter of men. This is also an advertisement. So more men will actually subscribe to the channel and watch the video because they are mesmerized by her cleavage.
I don't need a man, but I demand free birth control, and I will call it a war on women if someone objects to paying for my reproductive choices. I don't need a man. I just demand that men be forced to provide all of the services that they traditionally have in the past, but this time, free of charge, and with society's contempt instead of accolades. Why is it that feminists claim to need so little and yet demand so much? Have feminists ever thought to consider that they may be disliked because they make women weak rather than making them strong? You see, men and women have worked together for countless millennia to survive in this harsh world together. Men have done their part. They've died by the millions in wars, they've slaved their lives away in grueling jobs, and by their labor, by their blood and sweat and tears, they have built this modern world where life doesn't have to be as cheap as it once was. Modern Western civilization is a place of prosperity, where women no longer die by droves in childbirth, where natural predators no longer prowl the woods in search of human prey, and where we don't need to live in constant fear of a rival tribe invading and enslaving or exterminating us. Yes, it's a great world that Western men have built. But despite all of our comforts and luxuries and protections, men still serve as the backbone of this society. Men still work incredibly hard to maintain what we have, and even build a brighter future. They are still needed to provide for women and children.
I'm going to put this out there, and no insult to this woman, but she's definitely not she's not the prettiest girl in the entire world. You can see that she has a bit of weight on her, and again, she's definitely not the prettiest girl in the world, and honestly, girls like this are going to be the ones who have a hard time getting a man, especially a man with a lot of value and a man with a lot of money. And it's funny because now, as the resources, as the access to men is beginning to dry up, a lot of pretty girls can't get a man that wants to stay in a relationship with them. So imagine a girl like this trying to get into a relationship with a man. It's going to be very difficult. And then a man who actually wants to provide for her in the long term and take care of her, you've got to be kidding me. Manginas, the average mangina today can't provide for anyone. They're not good at making money. They're not providers. They're not the future. These are men who are headed down to These are men who are essentially destroying the country. You really have to factor in the fact that women today are essentially losing out on the many privileges that they had in the past. That major privilege was they could actually go out, get a man, and never have to work a day in their lives. That's a big deal, guys. A woman not having to work ever, that was a big deal. Women no longer have that option, and they created a system of government. They created a society like that by rejecting men, by saying they wanted more. They wanted more, 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 more. And now they're ending up with less, 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 less. And now they want the patriarchy back. They want the patriarchy back, but at the same time, they want to keep all the rights that they stole. Funny enough, she's talking about all the discrepancies between men, but she doesn't talk about first and second wave feminism that empowered women to behave this way. She doesn't talk about the fact that it's the rights that women got and the special privileges that they got that led to society being unbalanced and unjust as it is today. She doesn't mention any of that, but she's one of our friends. She's one of the good women, right?
To protect us from criminals and hostile nations. Unfortunately, feminists have largely succeeded in creating a society where the labor of men is divorced from those hardworking men getting credit for it. Men are now forced by law to support women, regardless of how they may be treated by them. And women in turn no longer view men as powerful protectors and supporters, but rather as slaves to be forced into service and tossed away when they fail to amuse.
And there you have it. Why would she be putting this out there again? Because she's trying to appear different than all the other girls. Because now all the other girls are unpopular with the boys. And it's even more difficult for her, being a woman who is overweight and not incredibly attractive, to get a man. So of course she has to be incredibly different. So she has to offer something they're not offering, especially when men are rejecting them left and right. So now she's basically saying, I have personality. I actually care about men. I actually I actually discuss men's issues. I'm different. I'm not like one of those narcissistic harpies over there. I'm a good woman. You should date me. Really? Really, really, really? No. Men are not going to fall for that nonsense. They sort of say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Men are not going to fall for the same thing twice. We've been there, done that. We've suffered.
Oh, but the fruits of an abandoned man's labor is not to be abandoned. The discarded male can continue to work to support the woman who no longer wants anything to do with him. Is it any wonder why women in this society have no respect for men, when everything that men have traditionally provided, and continue to provide, is supplied by the government instead? Is it any wonder why women who have evolved to respect strength and power look not to men, but instead to the government as their provider and protector? But
now, guys, she makes a good point here. Women look to the government as their provider and protector. There was a guy who left a comment on one of my videos, and he said something interesting. He basically tried to claim that it doesn't matter what happens, because even if the government won't pay for women, even if the government won't do it, they will still survive somehow. They will get, they'll never run out. In fact, I'm going to show you the comment. Let's pull up the comment for you guys. I'll go ahead and pull up the comment and toss it on screen. And this guy, he seems to think that no matter what happens, women will always be provided for. Women are running out of time. So here it is. Here it is, guys, and I'll go ahead and censor this for you so you can read it. But it's downright ridiculous. This statement is downright ridiculous. Women have literally done such a number on society that men don't think women can be stopped anymore. Men think women are unstoppable. So let's read it together. Dude, I hate to say this, but women are always going to be taken care of. If not the state, they will run to religion. If not, then the Salvation Army, etc. Sorry, man, women are not going to change until everything runs out. And if that happens, then they will just keep pumping babies until they can get enough sympathy to get help. Women will always find a way. They don't care how bad it gets. They just get used to it. Well, thank you very much for that statement. However, I have to disagree. Money doesn't grow on trees. The Salvation Army is heavily funded by the public as well as government support. Pumping and dumping babies. Donald Trump is cutting a lot of this shit. The government's not going to support them anymore, thinking that if the government stops supporting them, religion will support them. You really think that churches are going to support these women? Churches and religious organizations are going to take all their funds and invest it in these women? You've got to be kidding me. No way in hell are religious organizations going to become the new daddy for women. You have got to be kidding me. They use women to bring money in, not to put money out. Religious organizations, they don't like losing money. I'm just like scratching my head. Let me tell you a little bit about religious organizations. When I was homeless, I went to religious organizations for food, for different things. It is not easy. You get little bits of things. You get like a bag of bread, some canned foods. I mean, it's definitely not easy. It's not easy at all. You don't even get enough food to last you through the entire week. And a lot of the things you get are stuff you wouldn't even want to eat in the first place. Terrible stuff. Okay? And women who enjoy a multitude and a variety of different foods and all kinds of shit. You think that they're going to be satisfied eating a can of corn? You gotta be kidding me. I didn't say cream corn. Cream corn isn't so bad. A can of corn? No fucking way are they. These women are going to scream and suffer. And let me tell you another thing. The lines are long. I remember getting onto food lines that would go, there'd be 100 people on a food line. 100 people on a food line. When it gets worse, it's going to be even more than that. When it gets bad, it's going to be even worse than that. Like I said, they're going to have FEMA camps set up for women. And it's funny how some women said that we need to set up camps where they put men and women can come and take them out like library books. And then ironically, that's very well what may end up happening to women in these FEMA camps, where they set up FEMA camps for women who don't have anywhere to go. They quarantine them, and basically you have men who might come along and take one out for like a couple of hours and then bring her back. Nothing lasts forever. It sounds like someone's revving a motorcycle or a car in my background. Don't know what it is. I don't give a fuck. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm looking at the comment that this guy makes, and he seems to think that women will always have somewhere to turn to, even if they can't turn to the government. You've got to be kidding me. If women can't turn to the government, and men aren't supporting them anymore, they're fucked. They are fucked. The Salvation Army cannot support all these women. The Salvation Army, religion. Do you have any idea how much money it costs to take care of a woman? Do you have any idea the hundreds of billions of dollars that are pumped into women-only programs? You've got to be kidding me. Women are done.
Even with the government forcing men to provide for women in so many ways, and with so little thanks for it, there are still consequences for the women and children who are told that they only need the benevolent hand of government instead of a real father or husband. We have whole generations of children growing up without men in their lives. The latest research says that 1 in every 3 children does not have a father living at home. The terrible consequences of this are readily observable. We have women becoming increasingly bitter and entitled, despite receiving all that they demand and more, like spoiled children who throw a tantrum at the drop of a hat. We have men who feel increasingly bitter and alienated, finding it more and more difficult to support a society that not only fails to recognize their vital contributions, but also blames them for all of its problems, real or imagined. I really don't believe that the misandry that dominates our society can last that much longer in the scheme of things. It's a sickness that infects Western society and one from which we will either recover or die. To devalue half of our population, to exploit them, manipulate them, can only be sustained for so long. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Before I go, I just want to thank A Voice for Men Radio for featuring my videos on their blog. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate all that you do. In the unlikely event that you like my videos, but you haven't seen A Voice for Men, check out the link below. I'd also like to thank Benjamin and Soul Books for donating to my channel. I'm so grateful for your support. Thank you. Until next time, this is ShieldWife, and thanks for watching.
And there you have it, guys. Women don't actually care about men. They care about what men can do for them. And women like this realize that their privilege is beginning to slip away, because as they've damaged men, as they've ruined the lives of men, men who can't provide, when a man can no longer provide for himself, that he cannot provide for a woman. So tax dollars mean nothing if they can't extract tax and wealth from men. And men are the ones who create wealth through innovation and ideas. If you turn men into basic slaves who don't actually innovate, that don't actually generate wealth, that don't actually start businesses, if men don't have autonomy and the will to push the world forward, to drive the world forward, then nothing gets built, nothing gets created, no wealth gets generated. Okay? The reason why America has grown so much has been because of innovation. It's because of creating new products, new services that people actually want. You have to have more than a slave mill. You have to have more than men working in a field. If men are giving up and have no reason to work, then it's almost like they have very little reason to live beyond just doing the very basics to survive, just the very basics to live. Which means if they're doing just the very basics to live, there's not enough money to tax men for. If you can't tax men, then you can't provide these social services for women. And if you can't provide the social services for women, what do you think the government's going to do? You think the government's going to allow itself to go broke paying for women? No! The government's going to say goodbye. Do you think that women are going to sit back and do you think millennial women, or I should say millennial, do you think baby boomer women are going to want this generation of millennial women sucking up their resources? Because as more and more men are dropping out of the workforce and more women are entering the workforce, think about this carefully. Do you think other women want their resources being reallocated to lazy women? Do you think one group of women want to basically pay for another woman's birth control? They love the idea of men paying for their birth control, because when they say government, what they really mean is men. When women say government, they think patriarchy. When they think patriarchy, they think men. So they think men are paying for their birth control. But when women become the government, and women are the ones who are paying into the government, or women are the ones who have to suffer at the hands of the government, then suddenly things change. Suddenly, they want men back in charge. Suddenly, they don't want women getting all these privileges because it's coming out of their pockets. Suddenly, they don't want communism anymore. You see, socialism was really a system where resources are taken from men and given to women. Simple as that. Men pay 85% of all income taxes worldwide, while women make up 85% of all consumer purchases worldwide. Think about that huge disparity. Men make it, pay it, women turn around and spend it. And in droves, and on tons of useless shit. It's no surprise that more and more men are deciding that women are not worth relationships. It's no surprise that we're heading in this direction. And when I've said it already, I said it, I'll say it again. Money doesn't grow on trees. Nothing lasts forever. Women are losing Section 8 come this year. By next year, there will likely be no Section 8. Not the kind of Section 8 that they were familiar with. Food stamps, there will be a limit on food stamps. You will no longer be able to spend 10 years on food stamps, 20 years on food stamps. Donald Trump said like 10 years ago that people should not be living on food stamps for 10 years. There will be a new time limit. You will get food stamps for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and then you're off of the program. And do you think the average American is going to agree with someone living on food stamps for 10 years while they have to kick their own ass to survive, and knowing that their tax dollars are being used to subsidize the living of these people who can't find a job in 10 years? They can't figure out a plan in 10 years? Someone has been on Section 8 for 10 years, 15 years. She couldn't figure out a plan after 10, 15 years. She's still on Section 8? You've got to be absolutely kidding me. Social programs, so-called social welfare programs, were once upon a time said to be that they were designed to help people, give people a helping hand, to get them off the street, to give them a chance so that they can move out of the projects, out of government housing, not so that they would raise an entire generation, multiple generations in government housing, on government subsidized programs, on food stamps, on welfare, on WIC, on Section 8. That was never the plan, or was it? Now all of this shit is coming to an end. And you know what? We're going to see more looting. We're going to see rioting. We're going to see more bad behavior by the social justice warriors, by the libertards, by the feminists. And this is what's going to bring in martial law. And when martial law arrives, freedom of speech that they so enjoy, or they rather try to censor others from speaking of. Because don't forget, people like me, conservatives, are not allowed to openly go out and run our mouths because we can easily be arrested, shot down, attacked by the libertards. But so our freedom of speech is literally relegated to little sections of the internet, such as here on YouTube. We can't go out into the streets making a public display because, again, we could potentially be removed. However, now they're going to enjoy the exact same thing that we have. Because you see, we've learned how to actually work within the system. We learn to vote, so we vote the bastards out. We learn how to organize ourselves and how to ignore their voices. So they basically shut us out. They would not listen to us. So now we'll basically ignore them. And the country will go into martial law. They will lose many of their rights, their privileges, their freedoms to demonstrate. And if they think that they are so big and powerful when there's a man with a big gun and they think they're going to stand up to him and attack him and put their hands on him, they are going to find something else coming. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section if you agree that not only do women need men, but women will no longer be able to get them in the future. Men are leaving. Men are not going back to the plantation. Women are in for a rude awakening when they discover that more and more men are not going to enter relationships with them. More and more men are going to choose to literally have nothing to do with them, and the government won't help them. Companies won't hire them. So again, the only thing that we can see is literally women headed to FEMA camps. Droves of women ending up homeless, unable to provide for themselves, unable to get basic support from anywhere. If we look at Greece right now, Greece is flooded with prostitutes. Greece has 80% of Europe's prostitutes are in Greece right now, and many of them are 18 years old. 18, many of them are teenagers. I've talked about it before. I'll probably make another video where I discuss it in depth, that women are selling sex in Greece for €2. €2. And if you want to convert that to pounds, it's equivalent to something like a dollar, like a pound and a half. It's ridiculous. They are starving to death over there. They cannot find decent men. Something I was reading in a comment from someone that said that in the UK, a lot of the women in Europe are coming to the UK. A lot of poor European women are fleeing to the UK from places such as Greece. And the simps in the area are marrying these women and getting into relationships with these women and completely ignoring the local women. Because these women are just happy to have food to eat, have a roof over their heads, have toilet paper to wipe their asses with. If we talk about Venezuela, in Venezuela, they don't even have toilet paper. They go months at a time without toilet paper. They are starving to death in Venezuela as a result of communism, which people are called socialism, even though the major party, the main party, if not the only party in Venezuela, are called communist. Women have made their beds and now they're going to have to lay in them. They're going to have to lay in them and they're going to have to deal with the repercussions of their actions. 50 years of feminism, 50 years of destroying the lives of men, 50 years of saying that men are the devil, saying white men, black men, all men are evil, especially white men. 50 years of this shit is now going to come back and haunt them, and they are going to have to live in the mess that they have created. They created a bucket of shit, and now they're going to have to sit and bathe in that bucket of shit as a result of the nonsense that they're doing. And many women refuse to actually admit that there is a problem right now. They continue marching down the social justice warrior path, and it's going to hit them like a bag of bricks over the head all at one time. Let me know if you agree that things are going to completely collapse for women this year. We're already seeing it happening, especially with the amount of student loans that women have. Women have massive amounts of student loans. Massive. The average person has something like $40,000 in student loans. $40,000 in student loans. And we know that the vast majority of college students are female. So women are taking out all these loans, getting gender studies degrees, and they're not even prepared to actually get a real job. They can never pay back these loans because they can't find a decent job that'll allow them to pay back these loans. So what are they going to do? Nothing. They don't really have any options. They have very few options. Those options are few and far in between. So many of them are either going to have to keep living at home, but the ones who cannot live at home are going to find themselves on the street. And like I said, simps don't make good providers. Manginas don't make good providers. It's men like me who actually have to go out. It's conservative. It's preppers. It's people who actually have the balls to go out and actually survive and thrive. These manginas today, they don't have the capacity for that. They don't have the tenacity for that. The average man is weaker than the average woman these days because they've been mentally castrated. And now it's going to come back and bite society in the ass. The funny thing about men, on the other hand, though, is more women will starve because of men. And I'll tell you the reason why more women will starve because of men. It's quite simple. Give a man $5, give a woman $5, and see what they do with that $5. A man might go and buy some food. A man might go and buy something that he needs. If he only has $5, he's going to think rationally about what are the immediate things that he needs to survive at this moment. So the man will probably go and he'll say, well, immediately I may need water. So I'm going to go buy water, and I'll buy as much food as I can with this $5. So maybe crackers. I can get a decent amount of crackers. Again, he's going to use his head. He's going to use his head to buy as many things as he can to sustain his life with that $5. Give a woman $5 in a bad situation. A woman, $5. What will she do with that? She might go and buy some lipstick. Do you think I'm kidding? She might go and buy some lipstick. She'll buy some type of cosmetics, some type of beauty care, something along the lines. But she will rather buy something for vanity or comfort rather than something essential to sustain life. And then while she's wearing her $5 lipstick, she'll sit there dying of thirst, wondering how the hell life got to be this way, and thinking how unfair it is because that guy over there is drinking a bottle of water and eating crackers. And it's just not fair. That is a woman for you. Don't forget, I made a video earlier where a woman said that she would rather spend $80 fucking dollars on lipstick than a room to stay in. She'd rather spend $80 on lipstick than have a roof over her head. That is the modern feminist narcissist. And that is who we must watch out for. That is who we must stop supporting. That is who is going to find themselves in a complete unsustainable situation. And there will be no men to help. The very moment shit hits the fan, hear me and hear me loud. Women will say, men, help us. And there will be a resounding no, or rather, there will be just silence. Men will be silent. Hear me. Hear me as I say it. Men will be silent. They're not going to go and help these women. They're not going to be fooled, as men are just barely trying to stay on their feet. And even the men who haven't, even the men who've been prepping, even the men who have been putting their resources away, you think these men are going to come to their rescue? No! No way in hell. These women have burned every bridge. They have destroyed everything around them. And now hell on earth is upon them. And it's a hell of their own creation, of their own narcissism, of their own materialism, of their own cannibalism. They have literally shaped their own hell, and now they will have to live in it. That, my friends, is what women have done. Women have created their own hell, and now they will have to live in it. Let me know if you agree that women have created their own hell, and now they will have to live in it. They will have to stand in the bucket of shit that they have made for themselves. Just want to remind you guys that I make 3 of these videos every single day, plus bonus videos. If you want to help me to continue making more of these videos, please head over to my Patreon by going to my YouTube page or clicking on the Patreon link in the description of this video to become a Patreon and leave a donation. There are many different donations amounts you can choose from, but it helps so I can continue to make quality videos for you guys. So please definitely check out my Patreon. Never miss another video from me by clicking on the notification button next to the subscribe button on every video. You'll see a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Just make sure that box is checked, hit save, and you will always get notifications whenever I put out a new video or whenever I'm streaming. And if you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. Let me know if you agree that women have created an unsustainable situation for themselves. The shit is about to hit the fan, and when it hits the fan, men will not come to their rescue as the government rejects them, as the government says no more, we are not providing for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers.